All right, let's just jump right in. If you've ever even thought about importing sanitary ware from China, it can feel like this massive, complicated puzzle, right? So many moving pieces. But what if I told you there's a clear blueprint for success? That's what we're going to do today. We're going to turn that whole complicated mess into an exciting journey, and I'm going to give you the map you need to navigate it like an absolute pro.
So, first things first, why China? Well, let me just throw a number at you. 60%. What is that? That's China's share of the entire global sanitary ware export market. 60%. We're talking about an absolute powerhouse in this industry. And for you, that means a massive, massive opportunity.
But it's not just about the sheer volume or the variety. It's about your bottom line. Here's another number for you, 50%. That's the potential cost savings you could see by importing directly. I mean, just think about that for a second. Cutting your costs in half. That is a game changer.
So that's the million-dollar question, right? How do you actually unlock all that potential without falling into the common traps? Well, that's exactly what we're here to break down. Consider this the official start of your importer's journey, and we're going to give you the tools and the know-how for every single step. Okay, so every great quest starts with finding the right partner, the right guide. And when it comes to importing, that guide is your supplier. Seriously, finding a trustworthy, high-quality manufacturer, that is the absolute foundation for everything. If you get this step right, the rest of the journey gets a whole lot easier.
So where do you even start looking? Well, online B2B platforms like Alibaba are a fantastic starting point. Just a pro tip, look for those gold supplier badges. It's an extra layer of verification. But honestly, nothing beats getting on a plane and going to major trade shows like the Canton Fair. That's where you can actually touch and feel the products and build real relationships. And of course, a referral from someone you trust, that's pure gold. Now, check this out. Think of this as your treasure map. Seriously, it tells you where to hunt. If you're looking for top-of-the-line premium ceramics, you're going to Guangdong. Looking for the latest faucet technology? Zhejiang is where you need to be. Knowing this helps you zone in on the experts instead of just, wandering around lost. All right, every good journey has villains you need to watch out for. And in the world of importing, those villains are red flags. I'm talking about things like a supplier who refuses a simple video call to show you the factory, or one who won't send you samples. Big red flag. Or, and this is a huge one, demanding 100% payment up front. No way. And always remember the golden rule. If a price seems way too good to be true, it is. Run away.
Okay, so you think you found a great partner. Awesome. But now comes the real test, quality control. And listen, this isn't just some boring box-ticking exercise. This is the most important stage for protecting your money, your brand, and ultimately, your customers' trust.
Let's just park on that for a second. Think about it. Every single successful business is built on a foundation of trust. And when you're selling a physical product, that trust begins and ends with its quality. This goes way beyond just avoiding a few defects. This is about building your entire reputation one good product at a time.
So how do you actually protect that trust? I want you to think of it like a 3-step quality shield. Step 1, request and test samples. This is completely non-negotiable. Step 2, have crystal clear standards. I'm talking detailed technical documents, so there is zero confusion. And step 3, and this is so important, a pre-shipment inspection. This is your final line of defense to catch problems before your stuff is on a container ship in the middle of the ocean.
And this is where you get your leverage. The standard secure way to pay is a 30-70 split. You put down a 30% deposit to get production started. But, and this is the key part, you hold on to that remaining 70% until after you've had a successful quality inspection. It gives a supplier a very powerful incentive to make sure everything is perfect.
Okay, your products are finished, they look great, and they've passed inspection. That is a huge milestone. So now the next leg of our journey is logistics. This is the physical quest of getting all that awesome stuff from the factory floor all the way to your warehouse door.
Now listen up, because for fragile things like ceramics, this is a super important choice. You've got two main options. FCL, or full container load, means your stuff gets an entire container all to itself. It gets packed once, and it doesn't get touched again until it reaches you. Less handling equals way less risk of damage. The other option, LCL, might look cheaper for smaller orders, but your fragile goods are getting bundled and handled with a bunch of other people's stuff. Honestly, for sanitary ware, that's probably a risk you just don't want to take.
You're going to hear this word Incoterms. And I know it sounds super complicated and technical, but all it really is the rules of the road for international shipping. They're just standard terms. You'll see things like FOB or CIF that spell out exactly who is responsible for what and when that responsibility shifts from the seller to you. Knowing what they mean is absolutely key to avoiding nasty, unexpected costs down the line.
Okay, your shipment is on the water, it's getting close, you're almost there, but now you're approaching the final gate, the last big challenge on our importer's journey, navigating customs and tariffs. Yep, you can think of this as the final boss battle before your treasure is safely home. But here's the good news. You do not have to face this boss alone. This is where you bring in an expert guide, a customs broker. These are licensed pros who live and breathe this stuff. They handle all the complex paperwork and make sure you're compliant with all the rules. Trust me, trying to wing this on your own is a recipe for huge delays and fines. A good broker is worth every single penny.
And that quote is especially true when we're talking about tariffs. Look, trade policies can and do change. Hoping for the best is not a business strategy. It's a recipe for disaster. You have to do your homework, understand the potential tariffs, and bake them into your cost calculations from day one. And this right here is exactly why. A 25% tariff isn't some tiny little fee you can ignore. It can dramatically blow up your total cost and completely crush your profit margin. This is a real significant cost that you absolutely must plan for, or you could end up losing money.
And there you have it. You've made it through the whole journey. You found your supplier, you nailed quality control, you conquered logistics, and you beat the final boss of customs. So now it's time to claim the reward. Let's recap the keys to your success.
So let's just boil it all down. This is your importing blueprint. Number 1, find and vet a trusted supplier. 2, prioritize quality control above everything else. 3, always use secure payment terms, like that 30/70 split. 4, choose the right shipping. And for fragile goods, that means FCL. And finally, number 5, don't try to be a hero. Partner with experts like customs brokers and freight forwarders. Look, this isn't just a bunch of theory. This is an actionable plan. We've laid out the entire map for you, from that very first step all the way to the final reward. The blueprint is officially in your hands now. So there's really only one question left to ask. What are you going to do with it? What's your first step going to be?